morning, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are well wherever you are. You have found me on the back patio this morning. Per usual, I'm out here soaking up the garden and getting my morning medicine. As I sip on my lemon and apple cider vinegar concoction, I'm just observing nature, and I was getting ready to harvest some herbs for a DIY natural face cleanser. Oh, the hummingbirds are here this morning. Hi hummingbird friends, good morning. So this is not gonna be my original recipe by no means. This is the Rosemary Gladstar recipe. I wanna harvest my herbs this morning because that is the best time. Right after the dew is evaporated, you wanna kind of come out and get some of these herbs fresh in the morning. So I was getting ready to do that, and I wanted to just share it with you guys in hopes that somebody can benefit from this DIY natural face cleanser. So this radiant facial cleanser is called the Queen of Hungary Water. I am going to be referencing to some measurements, but I feel like with natural herbs it's very forgiving, so just keep that in mind. Things don't have to be exact to a T. If I say 6 tablespoons and you add 7 or you add 5, it's very forgiving, okay? So just be mindful of that. So this skin toner is going to remove excess oils from your face and help to tighten pores. So I began using this DIY facial cleanser and my face has been feeling amazing. So I wanted to share Rosemary's recipe with you all in hopes that somebody else will be able to benefit from it as well. And you could make this recipe all year round at any time with dried herb, but I especially love making it in the summer when I can harvest all of these herbs, or most of these herbs, fresh from my garden. So that is what we are going to do today. So without further ado, let's jump into making this DIY natural face cleanser for radiant skin. This is for radiant skin. If you want radiant skin, definitely make this DIY cleanser. So I'm going to take you out to the garden and we're going to go ahead and start harvesting some of these herbs. So this recipe is just going to be a 4-quart mason jar. So I'm going to go ahead and get my little gardening shears and my gardening harvesting basket, and we're going to head out to the garden and get some of these herbs. So here's my herb garden, and I have most of my herbs in containers because I did start in a container garden and I have gradually gone to raised beds. So most of my herbs have started in containers. So for today's recipe, we are going to be using the lovely lemon balm. We have lemon balm here. We're going to be using some sage. I have a purple sage, but there are different varieties. We're going to be using this sage today. Also going to be using some comfrey. We have our comfrey here. I have my chamomile here. I've been harvesting lots of chamomile every day, so some of them are still not open. So I may use some dry chamomile instead. I might pick what I have available here. And I'm also going to be harvesting some rose petals. I'm gonna try to find ones that are just starting to open up, and we're gonna use those. So I'm looking for my roses now, and see, this one is already spent. It's already drooping. I don't want to use that one. I want to use some that are fresh like this. So we have our herbs, and now we're going to head back over to the patio and get them put up into our mason jar. have our calendula. I'm going to be using dry calendula today because I don't have any flowers ready for harvest. I do have plants in the garden, they're just not ready. I also brought out some dried chamomile just in case I don't have enough here. This is fresh, I just harvested it, but I do have some dried homegrown here. Then we have our comfrey, we have our roses, our lemon balm, sage, and rosemary. We're also going to be adding some lemon peel. So let's get started. This is all the herbs that are going to be going in. So now that we have everything harvested, I'm gonna go ahead and start doing like a coarse chop just so that I can get them to fit into the jar. And I'm gonna be calling out numbers. Like I said, this recipe is very forgiving, so if you have more or less, it's not a big deal. So I might be running short on my sage, so I may not have the amount that I'm gonna say because I did just harvest some, so I may be running short on my sage. But let's go ahead and get chopping, and then we're gonna get everything into the mason jar. So the first herb I'm gonna have is my lemon balm. Lemon balm is amazing. So I'm just gonna give this a coarse chop. And the lemon balm is cooling and drying. It's rich in antioxidants. It is a protective for our skin. It also has both antiviral, anti-inflammatory, so it does help reduce redness and swelling on the skin. It is also calming and soothing for our nervous system, so it's good for irritated skin conditions. So it gives it a lemony scent, so it is amazing. So I'm just gonna give this a fine chop. Doesn't have to be too much, just making sure that I have space in my jar for everything. So into our jar, we're gonna go ahead and add our lemon balm. It's gonna be 12 tablespoons of fresh lemon balm or 6 tablespoons of dried lemon balm. So if you have fresh, 12. If you have dried, 6. So I have about 12 tablespoons of lemon balm in here. It smells amazing. I wish you guys could smell it. So next up, we're gonna go ahead and add in our chamomile. So you want about 8 tablespoons of fresh chamomile or 4 tablespoons of dried. I have a little bit of both. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add in my chamomile. And then I'm gonna get about 3 tablespoons of the of the dried. And the best part about chamomile is the more you pick it, the more you get. So if you don't harvest your chamomile, it's not gonna grow. But if you pick it every day, you'll get an abundance of it. So the next herb we're gonna put in is gonna be our roses. We're gonna put 8 tablespoons fresh or about 4 tablespoons dried. I'm just gonna put this handful in here. Our lemon balm, chamomile, our roses are in there now. So I'm gonna grab this big old handful of comfrey. And I'm just gonna give this comfrey a rough chop. Just so that it can expose some things. So for the comfrey, you want about 6 tablespoons fresh or 3 tablespoons dried. And I'm gonna have all this down in the description. So our comfrey's going in. Next up, we're going to add in the calendula. The calendula is amazing for skin. Oh my God, I love calendula. It helps relieve inflammation. It can help with elasticity and skin hydration, and it also promotes new tissue growth. As I mentioned before, I don't have fresh calendula, so I'm going to be using my dry calendula today, and I'm going to be using about 3 tablespoons of the dry calendula. And the calendula, I also make a calendula salve. If you haven't seen that yet, please be sure to check it out right here. It is amazing. It is our go-to cream in this house. My girls call it the boo-boo cream. So we have one everywhere throughout the house, in the car, everywhere. But it is amazing. We love it. But I'm going to be using 3 tablespoons of my dry calendula. These were from last year's garden, and I only had a couple of plants, and I did harvest quite a bit. This year I amped up. I have so many calendula plants, but none have been able to flower yet. So I'm patiently waiting. For now, this is gonna be just as good. So we're gonna get 3 heaping tablespoons of calendula. added in our lemon peels. So I just added in some lemon peels. And for the lemon peel, you want about 2 tablespoons. Next up, we're going to add in our sage and our rosemary. So for the sage, you want about 2 tablespoons. And the rosemary, the same, about 2 tablespoons. Ta-da! It's looking beautiful already. It's already looking beautiful. Oh, smells amazing. So the rosemary is going to add some protection for your skin as well, and it's going to also get some stimulation throughout the body. It's going to give it like a fresh feeling, and it also acts as like a preservative in this combination, and it gives it a fresh scent as well. The sage is warming and drying, and it adds aromatics, astringent, and anti-inflammatory qualities to this blend. It also is going to help and tighten and tone tissues while easing swelling and pain. It smells so good. So we have all our herbs in there, and next up is you're going to want to have about a quart, enough to fill a quart of apple cider vinegar, and you want apple cider vinegar with the mother, so try to get a good quality. Again, this is going to be used for your skin, for your face, so the best you can get. I usually like to use Bragg's, but I didn't have Bragg's today. But I have this apple cider vinegar from Whole Foods. So I'm going to go ahead and fill my quart size jar up with this. I'm going to fill it up to the top as much as possible. And then we're going to cover it, and you want to put it in a dark, cool location for about 2 to 3 weeks. So let's go ahead and fill this up. I'm going to give my apple cider vinegar a really good shake. Alright, so now just sit her in a cool, dark place for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then you'll be ready for the next step. So this is our fresh one we just put together, and this one I made about 3 weeks ago. It's been steeping for 3 weeks now. So I'm going to go ahead and strain it off and show you guys the next step on making the cleanser. So after 3 weeks, you're going to just strain it off. So I have my spent herbs here, and I'm just trying to extract as much of that vinegar as I can. So I'm going to get rid of these spent herbs, and then I'm going to come back and probably strain it for a second time. So we have our little concoction here from our herbs with the apple cider vinegar. So what you're going to need is some witch hazel, and you're going to want about 2/3 cup to a cup. So I have about 2 cups of herbal vinegar. So for every cup, you want to add 2/3 cup of the witch hazel. So that's my first 2/3 cup. And that's my second. And I might actually just add this whole bottle. Definitely want to dilute the herbal vinegar this way to prevent burning of the skin. So for every cup of herbal vinegar, you want about 2/3 cup to a cup of witch hazel. So I went ahead and put the whole bottle because it was 16 ounces. So for 2 cups of the herbal vinegar, I added 1 whole bottle of witch hazel. So this product doesn't need to be refrigerated, and it should usually keep indefinitely. You could put it in a little bottle like this and just spray some onto a cotton ball or a little dropper bottle. It's all up to you on how you want to store it, whatever's going to be easy for your face routine. So I usually would soak a cotton ball or a cotton pad and then just use it to clean my face to remove any dirt or buildup. So you will likely feel tingling or maybe even a little bit burning, but you would just use this and then rinse off with warm or cool water and then moisturize as usual. I hope you guys like this recipe. Please let me know down in the comments if you try it, or if you've already tried this before. Let me know what your thoughts are. I've been using this as my face cleanser for a while now, and I really love it. So I'm very happy to be able to share Rosemary Gladstar's recipe with you guys. I'm gonna have all the measurements down in the description box below, so be sure to check there if you want to make it. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, you guys. Meet me down in the comment section below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one.